Hey guys, the reason this is another video is because I got cut off from the other one because my parents came home and I didn't really find the time to continue that day. So it's a new day and I'm just gonna continue. Elizabeth thought it was very difficult to understand that answer, but she hid the angel's words in her heart. She would perhaps understand them better another time. The two wise men were not entirely satisfied with what the angel had said. It is, strictly speaking, not necessary to believe in angels at all, said Caspar. Many people believe that such concepts have very little to do with what Jesus wished to teach us. All the angel stories may only be fairy tales, added Balthasar. But that Jesus wished to teach humans to be kind to one another is no fairy tale. Now Ephriel began to argue. We angels are not in the habit of using such strong words, he said, in a very gentle voice. All the same, I must say that this is one of the silliest things I've ever heard, at least on this pilgrimage. You should be ashamed of yourself, both of you. Or you should stay in the Orient and not start wandering west with such irresponsible talk. Yes, indeed, added Ephriel. You should be ashamed of yourselves, both of you. I'm offended. The next moment, Ephriel did something Elizabeth thought angels in heaven would never do. He put his hand in front of his offended face and thumbed his nose at the two wise men from the Orient. Bah! To you, said the cherub. Yes, indeed. A certain nervousness began to spread among the godly company. The angel Ephriel spread his arms to show that he was not carrying any weapons. It's easy to lose courage when even your nearest and dearest lose faith in you. But although we can disagree about such important matters of belief, we mustn't, under any circumstances, quarrel. Now, let's try to forget all the unkind things that have been said and all the unkindness that was thumped. Joshua the shepherd was clearly in agreement with the last speaker, for he thumped his crook on the ground and said, To Bethlehem! To Bethlehem! And with that they started moving down through Phrygia. Joachim sighed. It's silly when grown-ups quarrel, he said, but it's even sillier when even the angels in heaven start quarreling. Papa nodded. These have always been sensitive matters. It's not the first time people have gotten annoyed because of a discussion about angels. But they didn't disagree so very much, protested Mama. The angels and the wise men agreed that the most important lesson Jesus wanted to teach people was that we ought to be kind to one another, and that can, in fact, be much more difficult than believing in angels. Papa opened the atlas and pointed out Constantinople, which is called Istanbul today, as well as the narrow Bosporus Strait, where the Emperor Augustus had taken the pilgrims across by ship. In the Pancake Book, he found the old city of Chalcedon, where all the priests had met to discuss what Christians' doctrine was. Now the pilgrims were in Asia. When Mama came home from work that afternoon, she had a large envelope full of newspaper articles. She had been to the library to get copies of everything that had appeared in the newspaper when Elizabeth Hansen disappeared in 1948. The family sat around the coffee table, reading the old newspaper cuttings. They examined the picture of Elizabeth Hansen most carefully. Mama took down the photo of the grown-up Elizabeth from the mantelpiece and compared the pictures. Could the two pictures be of the same Elizabeth? Both of them have fair hair, said Mama. Don't they both have slightly pointy nose too? Papa was more interested in the disappearance. As he read the old newspaper, he said, Her mother was a teacher, her father was a well-known journalist, Only her little knitted cap was found when the snow melted a few months later. In the woods. Otherwise, the police had no clues at all. They hadn't read the magic advent calendar, said Joachim. Even if they had, they couldn't have arrested an angel, Papa said, laughing. After Mom and Papa said good night that evening, Joachim put the light on again. It occurred to him that he hadn't looked at the large picture on the outside of the advent calendar for several days. That was because most of the doors in the calendar had been opened, so he closed them. And it happened again. The picture showed Mary and Joseph leaning over the baby Jesus in the manger. In the background were the wise men and the angels descending through the clouds to tell the shepherds in the fields that Jesus was born. High up on the left side, there was a picture of two men in fine clothes. Unlike all the others, they were standing with their backs to the scene. Joachim had seen them many times before, and now he was quite certain that they were supposed to be Quirinius and the Emperor Augustus. But only at this moment did he notice that the Emperor was carrying a shining scepter. Had he been holding the scepter in his hand ever since Joachim was given the calendar in the little bookstore, or had the scepter drawn itself in? Dun, 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 dun. That was chapter 18. I'm excited to see how it all wraps up together. Do they find out if it is Elizabeth Olsen or not? Who knows? Anyway, I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. And until then, I love you all. Goodbye.